Hi, I'm Joanna Threm, General Manager of Nucor Steel, Nebraska. The story of this mill began 50 years ago in 1973, when the demand for steel was soaring and the need for local steel to service our Volcraft division here in Norfolk became evident. With a vision for growth and a commitment to excellence, a group of forward-thinking individuals laid the foundation for what would become Nucor's second steel mill. The team that started this mill planned a facility that would produce 200,000 tons of angles and round bars for the local market. Today, this facility produces almost 1 million tons of not only merchant-grade angle for Volcraft, local construction and agriculture, but rod for springs and fasteners, and highly engineered special quality bar for safety-critical automotive applications. I'm so very proud to say that Nucor Steel Nebraska had its safest year ever in 2022. Nucor is committed to taking care of our customers, the communities where we live and work, the environment, and our teammates who get the job done every day. Our 525 teammates are building a stronger future for our community and our nation, 1 ton at a time. We are proud to call Nebraska home.
There was an old story about Ken Iverson, that he'd get off a plane, he'd drive far enough, and once he ran out of radio service, he'd stick a flag in the ground and build a plant there. There might have been a little bit of truth to that.
Now, I was a little curious, why would you want to move steel 1,376.7 miles in order to make steel joists? But they knew exactly what they were doing. Because what talent do you need to make steel joists? You need welders. Every farm kid in Nebraska could weld.
I had learned about it from a neighbor out on the farm. He came out to get a job here when Nucor just started, and he kept telling me, he said that if you can't farm, that's the place to be. This place built 1 rolling mill and 1 melt shop, and it expanded from there. We had 2 45-ton furnaces at the time, a 2-strand caster, and a lot of problems.
When I came out here for my interview, it was like, what is this place? My first tour, it was 2 melt shops, and those were scary places.
I started in 1991, so coming up on 33 years.
I've been here a little over 45 years.
I've been here a little over 34 years. And I started out stacking steel out here, man.
So you grab onto a bar that's 600-700 degrees, throw it into a bundle, and you get initiated pretty quick. There were a lot of people that would get a pair of boots out of the supply warehouse, come back, and 4 or 5 hours later you'd see that pair of boots sitting down there, and they walked out and said, I don't want any part of this stuff. You either make it or you don't, you sink or swim.
My first night at work, this billet stacker was on top of the billet pile, and he had to use a billet fork to flip all these billets off the C-hook. And I seen him playing air guitar with that billet fork up on top. I was thinking, what did I get myself into?
Our first GM was John Doherty, and he had the foresight to set us up to be more diversified with the product range that we run here at this mill. At the time, it was unheard of to run SBQ at a mill like this. We were told early on, you can't run that stuff here. You can't run it with the equipment you've got, you can't. Proved them wrong then, proved them wrong today. First year I worked at Nucor Steel, Nebraska, we had 104 recordables.
And I'm sure I was probably one of those statistics back then. I've got scars and stuff to show some of the stupid things I'd probably done. Something needed to be done, you jumped in, did it, you didn't think about what could happen, and fortunately we've really evolved since then. The safety culture around here is probably second to none.
Tons aren't the most important thing in life. You have to watch out for one another.
You figure out ways of doing it. You can still make that money and do it safe. I mean, you don't have to take the risks.
Even in my 11 years, we've We've gone from a struggle where we're having several recordables a year, 3-4 recordables a year, to times when we went 2 years without a recordables. So there's lots of milestones that the team can be, happy about and celebrate. It's pretty impressive on the changes we've made to get where we are today.
I remember walking through the melt shop, rolling mill, the entire plant, and I used to know everybody's name. I would say maybe 150 to 200 people in the entire plant.
I know that the reason Ken built here was because he knew the community had a strong work ethic.
I think a lot of Nucors will say the same thing, but we always feel that our team is what makes this place tick, and the teammates that we find and the quality of people that we bring here to work, people that you want to come and work with, people that build relationships and not just workers. They end up being your friends.
Nucor is such a great company just because of, I think, the people here. I would like the community to think of Nucor as very high integrity, trustworthy, honest people, very hardworking, and people who are going to go that extra mile to get the job done and to figure something out. And when there are problems, hey, let's call a Nucor teammate, because I know that they're gonna have the strength and the knowledge to help us figure this out.
I think Nucor will always be a rock in this community. And when we employ, over 1,000 teammates probably in this local area, what we do matters.
If you think about that, if each one of those teammates is part of a family of 4, that's roughly 1 in 5 people you see on the street as a Nucor family member or a Nucor teammate. It's huge.
We have 4 divisions here, and you can't go a block without talking to someone about Nucor and how much they've impacted someone's life, their family, or the community. And it's always really a proud moment for me when I go to a fireworks show and Nucor is the top donor, or you go and you look at a flyer on a fundraising campaign for cancer at the hospital and Nucor was a big donor. Those types of involvements make me proud to work for Nucor.
Big Bang Boom is without a doubt it was for the longest time the single largest day event in Northeast Nebraska. Nucor has been the top supporter of this event since day one.
We've been the beneficiary of the golf tournament a few times in the last few years, and that usually generates between $125,000 and $150,000 each time. Those dollars were directed towards the Hope Fund, and the Hope Fund benefits cancer patients in Northeast Nebraska that are getting care through the Carson Cancer Center.
Traditionally, Nucor has been one of the strongest community partners we have in the town. Nucor personally saved the Great American Comedy Festival, which is our big comedy festival in town to celebrate Johnny Carson. So the more you guys keep growing, the more we're going to keep growing as a community.
Well, certainly this mill was built by John Doherty, and he was part of this community and really did a lot to bring this mill to life. But there have been quite a few folks that have come through Nucor Steel Nebraska and gone on to other places within the corporation, gone on to lead Nucor Corporation from a bigger standpoint.
I wouldn't trade what I've done, the people that I met in the last 30 years for anything. It's been great.
So I'm taking a lot of the information that I learned from my mentors over the year and putting my little spin on it though, and seeing how things have changed and how we do things now, and then helping coach them and mentor them along the way. The vision that we want to leave here is that we're going to have a place for everyone to work. We're going to lead the SBQ market. We're going to have a place for our kids and grandkids to work, and it's going to be safer than it is today.
Thank you so much for helping us celebrate the 50th anniversary of Nucor Steel Nebraska. We are proud of our safe team, our mill, our products, and our history. As we look ahead, remember the successes of Nucor Steel Nebraska are not measured in tons of steel produced, but in the countless lives positively impacted by its presence. Nucor Steel Nebraska remains committed to safety, excellence, innovation, and sustainability. With a rich history and a bright future ahead, we continue to shape the steel industry and our community. We have immense gratitude for the families, customers, and partners that make our work possible. So on behalf of all of those who came before us, let's celebrate these remarkable achievements as we look forward to at least another 50 years.